welcome everyone to this event of Videoworks about what is the next technology in the super yacht industry. I'm Maurizio Minossi. I am the CEO and CTO of Videoworks, and together with our lecturers, I will run this event with the goal to inform you about something really cool and interesting in technology. We focus on generative AI, but with a specific goal to focus on the video production for the big LED walls that more and more interior designers use to put on board for aesthetical reasons. So we try to explain you that generative AI is a good tool to create bespoke and original video for the guest and for this kind of applications. Let me introduce you our lecturers today. We have Tiberio Auricchio, that is professor of University of Pisa and is even a founder entrepreneur of a company whose name is Small Pixels. The company is focused on digital signal processing on video for broadcasting and professional application. And the second lecturer is Edoardo Scognamiglio. Edoardo Scognamiglio is a professional in the broadcasting industry. He's a director, editor, and content creator. So together with them, we try to explain what are the technologies behind. Of course, we remain at higher level, intuitive level, and we won't go too much in deep about the theory, but above all, the practical implication, the problems, and what is to be pay attention to, and what are the next step in next year for the evolutions of these tools. During the show, we have the possibility for someone is visiting us to have a nice demo of generative AI. They have produced with a company of, it's a special company in video production. And in this demo, it's possible for you, according to the music that you play in your Spotify, for us to generate your bespoke and custom-made video according to your musical taste. So if you have time later to visit the stand, we can produce this video for you. So I start to ask Tiberio about introducing us in these technologies. Of course, we will remain at a high level. And above all, the question that Tiberio will try to answer us at the end of this lecture is if all these expectations are well-founded or there is too much noise and too many expectations about it. Please, Tiberio.
Thank you, Maurizio. So I will try to explain the technical part, let's say, but I want to start with this video action. So, like this. Thank you. Okay. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's look at this video. Okay. Seems like a video game in the beginning, but this is actually a fake world. A world that this was generated completely by generative AI, a computer vision algorithm, basically from a text only. So there was somebody that described this word, these many words you see here, and every details are consistent, you see, and are totally fake, totally generated based only on the text and only on information that was given as input to this machine. This is the latest novelty that we have in this generative AI world. And you can also produce videos of what you want. This is, for instance, is similar to Amalfi. Basically, it's the exact place is Amalfi, actually, but it was modified to add church, to add several stuff that actually isn't there. But because we liked it, we wanted it to add it. And this is the prompt, the text that was used to generate this video. You see, the only input is this. It's very specific things, very specific text of what you want, and then you obtain it directly. That is the magic of generative AI. We generate something from nothing, let's say. Nothing at some point, because the system already seen a lot of stuff first. But how it works technically. So, first, what is generative AI? Okay. Generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence that is dedicated to generate stuff. What is this stuff? Can be text. For instance, I can ask, ChatGPT, right? So you can ask, for instance, to create an haiku, which is a type of poetry about something, and I can obtain some output like this. I can generate images like this magnificent work, let's say, or videos like we saw, or audio that can be music directly, or even the sheet about the music, but also I can produce any type of synthetic data. What you see here are faces of people that actually do not exist. So the machine is dreaming about people and is producing this type of faces. And you can see by the transformation, we can even smoothly interpolate between one face to another. And we can see the changes that are semantically relevant. We can produce cats, cars. We can also produce dresses, and people that dress them actually. These are completely fake, totally. And we can generate it as many as we want. So you can think about this as a way to personalize your experience if you want, because we can generate what you want. So regarding the technical part, how do we do it? So we have to think how the computer processes these kind of things. Actually, the idea is that there's a computer representation, very modern, that represents all these kind of things. We can represent text, we can represent images, videos, and audios. And they are represented as points, like you see here, in some space. This is a 2D space because it's just a sheet, okay? So I can put the points in places, and here you see a data set of images actually transformed into points, where the colors are different objects. Let's say cats are all here, dogs are all here. So they have something that is meaning to them, okay? So the point is producing in the computer some space like this that can actually be useful to understand and to generate something, okay? This is called latent space. It's a space that has some meaning that we don't know directly what it is. We can learn it, and that's what they do. Actually, takes inspiration to the visual brain, to the visual cortex, actually, because there was this experiment many, many years ago that found that the brain, when processes images, it has several parts dedicated to several different tasks. First, the brain looks at something, and then, once you see here the part, it has several layers, several processing that first detect the colors, the edges of the image. And then, basically, it can recognize features, more intermediate features, more complex features, like, for instance, the objects, what the parts of the objects are, the cat, the object in itself, and then it can react at the end by doing something. So this is the inspiration, because we see that there are several layers. Okay? And what we did is something, non-big bang research, let's say, take inspiration from the brain. We start from the neurons. Neurons are simple cells by themselves that takes inputs from the dendrite, and when they decide something, they output something through the axon. And the magic happens because in the brain, we have many of them stacked as layers. What we did, the researcher did, was simulate this with many, many fake, simple neurons. And we built such the neural networks. Neural networks are a type of mathematical model at this point that takes some input and outputs something, okay? So the problem at the point is, how do we do something magic with this? Because if we have these kind of things, how do we train them? How do we teach them to produce the magical videos that we saw, okay? At that point, we have machine learning. Machine learning is a type of discipline that takes these kind of models and teach the machine something by using examples. So the idea is that we have these systems where we show them something and we get some output. Let's say we want to recognize objects from images. A simple task for artificial intelligence nowadays. What we do is we input, for instance, an image of a horse, and we expect this neural network to output horse. here. If it does, well, I'm happy, so when the system works. But if it doesn't, we have a process that can change this part and update it based on the output that I want. So if it outputs monkey, okay, now there's an error, so I have to update it. And this goes on and on by seeing millions and billions of images. So the magic happens because we have a lot of data that we can use to automatically do this and train something. Once you do it, there's some magic, because in the end, this system, if you look at the layers, what you have is something like this. The first layers, they know how to recognize color or edges. These are kind of edges in the image. But once you go along with the network, it actually can recognize something that is very complex, parts of objects, even objects by themselves. So it happens something that is similar to the brain, actually. It resembles that. It's not the same stuff, but it's similar. So we are happy. And this is the fact that we have several, let's say, things important. The complex part comes now of the talk. So there's an hypothesis that's called the manifold hypothesis that says this. If I take a person, for instance, and I record them, I record the face of the person, well, not every image, not every video is possible, because the person has only 60 muscles, around 60 muscles in the face. So not every combination is possible. That means that even if I have a lot of data, only 60 numbers I need to actually describe the face. The manifold hypothesis says that I can have as long as many dimensions, many in that space, the latent space, many dimensions that I want. But in the end, only the 6 numbers about the muscles are important to describe if a person is angry, surprised, or whatever. And this is important because once you have this, what you do is, okay, I trained the network before. I found something like this where we have this latent space with the points of the images. Okay, I can find directions inside this space that are important to generate or describe objects. Because I can find in this space where there is a car, for instance, and turn it into red by looking for directions in this space. Because I have the properties that I told you before. And that is fantastic because the technical difficulty is finding these directions in the end. And you have the data. But I talked about classifiers. So this was image classification. You have an image, like a bird, and you expect the system to output a bird, basically. But they want to generate things instead. So the paradigm is the opposite, actually. You want to have bird and generate a bird, basically. Okay. But if I do this, bird is just a word, one word. I expect only one bird in output. How can I produce several kinds of different words, by moving in this space, maybe? What we do is we add some noise, we add some randomicity to this, some random stuff to the generator that when you apply it, even if you have bird as input, you can have many birds, different birds, I expected at least. So I can generate different stuff. And maybe I can find some noise, some random stuff that can actually change the color. I have red or blue birds. Maybe I can find one that is for the angle, so I can change the angle of the bird. One for the sides. If I can find all these kind of things in the end, what I have is that I have a system where I just say something about the color, and then you obtain the bird that you want. So the magic here is in finding this. And this is the complete stuff that you do in generative AI at the end. You have some space, the latent space at this point. You don't know what it is inside. It's just a space. We move inside it some points, and then you have a neural network that will output your image that you want. So let's say that you have this point, for instance, that we randomly choose, let's say. This point corresponds to a cat. Nice. I have a cat. Let's take another point. Okay, if I move it somewhere else, I can have a bird. Nice. The magic is if I can find some direction then in this space, where if I move along it, I get different views of the same bird. So I can control actually how the bird is and how to generate it. I can do it for the horizontal side. I can do it for the vertical one. So I can have all the combinations of the birds that I want. But it doesn't stop here, because I showed you in the first video, we could smoothly change from one place to another. How do you do that? Simple. You have a point that corresponds to an image. You have another point that corresponds to the output, the second image, let's say, and I can just smooth move inside this space and generate all the images that corresponds to this point. And you obtain a sequence that has semantic meaning in the end. So you can produce videos this way, for instance. Finally, let's say I want instead to use this variable, because it's hard actually to find this variable and choose which one. The best way that we do today is the system where you can read text and produce the actual move in the semantic space, the Latin space, that corresponds to what you want. So if I ask for this kind of image, well, I can get it, because the system knows how to move inside the space. Let's say how to navigate the space. And I can even change actual images that I have. So I can generate, for instance, a kitten that is on a bike, and then later ask it to turn it into a car, as I can move it inside. I can just draw some bag, and then output something that doesn't resemble a bag, but you see has the same kind of edges. All because I can move inside the space. Finally, how do you train the network inside? Because that is the hard part. It's nice to have this space where I can move along, but I have actually to produce the image. That is the hard part. And that is something that the geeks of the artificial intelligence are spending nowadays a lot of computation to do it. Okay? So you have to understand how this works. It starts from noise in Latin space and produce the image. Well, the trick is then we do the opposite. We take images that are well formatted, nice images, and we do some process to go back in the Latin space by adding noise. So the trick that we use is that you take this magnificent bird, and I add noise, until I get something that is not does not resemble anything. Why we do that? Because this is counterintuitive, no? We do that. Well, if I know how to go from a very good image to noise, I know how from noise then I can go back to the image because I produce the sequence. And so, what the magic is here, because these are actual samples that I can teach a machine. I can teach a machine, a neural network, to have this as input, which is noisy, and output something that is less noisy, because I know how it is. And these are actually samples that we can give to the system as training data. And then you have the magic that you can see actually in all the videos, because you do this a lot, many billions of examples, and the machine actually knows how to turn noise into image, and is controllable by the Latin space. You do with several kinds of noise, you get different kind of bursts, and then you have it. So that is basically all the framework that you need to understand the basic inside of generative AI. But what is next? Because I showed you a lot of magic in the beginning. Is it actually finished, the research in this area? Well, the answer is no, obviously, because this kind of system only look at images and videos. They do not know the real world. So what happens is that if I ask the system to produce, let's say, a guy running on a treadmill, it happens this. This is the opposite of what I expect, actually. Huh? And that is because the system, okay, maybe has seen the guy that was walking, but it tried to understand something that it didn't really know yet. Because he knows something about the image, the video, but it doesn't know actually of the physics that is behind. So we need to teach this kind of system how to move in the real world yet. This is another example. This is one of my favorites. It's archaeologists that find a plastic chair. You can see that there are some issues with this chair. Actually, it moves by itself. It's nice. Oh, no. You see? Because the system does not understand the physics yet. And we can do it in the following years. It will not take long, I believe, to make the system also understand this kind of things. And that is my talk. Thank you for
Thank you, Livello. It's very fascinating because it's kind of explaining the way that humans dream. We have into our brain the little space. The noise is the pizza that we have the dinner before, and during the night it triggers the generation of images. So after this very good and extent lecture, we let Eduardo to explain what is a practical application, and above all, what are the potential pitfalls that a user can experience with technology.
Yeah, thank you, Maurizio. It's not easy to do it after a PhD professor. I will try, but yeah, today I will bring you another point of view of the same topic Tiberio told us, because I'm a creative person. I've been working as a television writer for the last 15 years. So you will listen to the same stuff, but from my point of view, which is a point of view of a creative person. And as you can imagine, over the last few years, maybe it's happened to you as well, I've been asking myself a lot of questions about AI. What is AI? Something that can help improve my job? Is it an enemy? What's going on? And I see an expected turn. If you think about it, we thought that AI would help us with repetitive tasks, boring stuff like filling the spreadsheet. So I was fine. I'm a creative person. I don't worry about this. And then it turned out that, wow, AI is very good with images, video, art. Okay, what's going on? And I see different perspectives from colleagues of mine. There is this kind of a creative person who says, it's just hype, don't worry. We had the crypto moment, the NFT moment. Who remembers the NFT moment? Everything was NFT. What is NFT? I don't know. But and now there is the AI moment. So don't worry, be happy. Then there is another kind of creative person who thinks that AI will drive us to the death of creativity. I found this really funny video on Instagram I want to show you right now that tries to capture what art will be in 1 year. Let's see together.
What a raw and moving 900-page novel. You really have a knack for writing. Would you like to create more art? A song? Wonderful. What would you like it to be about? Wow, you're so talented.
Happens all the time. Nice job, Eduardo. Nice idea. So I think that we have the opportunity to think of a new way to work and create. Considering AI as a partner, not a tool that can replace us as creative people, but something that can help us making more stuff and better stuff. We have reached a point of no return. That's a really smart quote from Seth Godin. In the late 18th century, there were companies that considered electricity interesting, but had no intention of becoming electric companies. So we are in. You have no choice. You have to embrace AI. I will focus on AI applied to video generation. And I will tell you that the revolution is happening in many fields. The first one, the fastest one, in my opinion, is the advertising field. On the top of the screen, you see a regular commercial from Starbucks made with real actors, real crew. Below, there is the same video made 100% with AI. You cannot spot the difference. I'm not saying that this kind of video, the people behind the first video, the real video, are useless right now. I'm saying that maybe this kind of video we can the AI can handle, and we can focus on something different. It's happening, the revolution, the movie industry. Slower. This year, for the first time, Netflix uses AI in order to achieve some visual effects. What it means, if Netflix says that it's a tool with a quality, it means that there is a huge quality, something groundbreaking. And that is changing everything in the meme world. Look at this cat, it's not, yeah, to say it, it's not real. And it's amazing. No, I'm happy to see it all the time. Now, what I'm saying, that this technology, when it reaches the meme world, it means that it's the technology that is easy, that everyone can use it. It's not something for few professional people. So, if you're asking yourself, I'm ready to start a video on AI, maybe you're asking yourself, okay, but today, tomorrow, what can I do with it? I bring you 3 things you have to know right now and 3 scenarios, considering that the future in the AI world is tomorrow. Okay? Everything is going really, really fast. Everything is going really fast. That's a really famous benchmark test called Will Smith eating spaghetti test. I'm sorry, professor. That's not the proper mathematical test, but it's a test we use to evaluate how a model is capable of producing video. And that's a video from 2023. You can see the potential. Okay, it's interesting, but everything is a mess. The face, the physics. If you try to use the same prompt, Will Smith eating spaghetti today, 2 years later, you got this kind of video. So everything is going really, really fast. The physics are okay, the face is with Smith. The second thing you have to know, the workflow changes. I've been used to follow in television and advertising these stages. So there is the concept stage where you think about an idea, then there is the pre-production, and there is the production, and then post-production. With AI, everything could be compressed. I'll give you an example. The last week I was working on an idea. So I was sketching, I was writing text, while with my laptop I was producing some frames and some footage of the idea I had in mind. I don't have to wait until the production stage. I can see right now what I have in mind. Of course, it's not a footage I will use, it's not a final outcome, but it's something really useful in order to imagine what I have in mind and to show my client what I have in mind. That's really a step forward. I have to say, it's not necessarily easy and cheap. That's an example of a work I was doing the last week. I was trying to get the image I have in mind, and I had to iterate and edit on and on and on. And a professor can confirm that it takes time and money in the end. But with these new tools like this one, it's called Xfield AI, you can be the director of your footage, of your videos. With this tool, you can write on storyboards what you want to happen. I want a tomato to splash on the driver. So as a creative person, I'm really excited about this. I can be the director as well. you can be the main performer of a video. I'm going to show you a test of a tool called Runway Act 2. Basically, you can record your acting with a smartphone or a camera, a webcam. You can transfer your acting to an avatar.
Now you can record a video of yourself like this, and then transfer the dialogue, gestures, and movements to any image that you desire. All the lip syncing, body movement, even the smallest facial expressions to prove, they all get matched beautifully.
Yes, it will copy everything accurately. This is going to change everything.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you are at home alone and you play a character. It sounds crazy, but yeah, you can do it. I think that the truth is, the magic happens when you combine real and AI. Yeah, it's funny when you prompt I want a 10-second movie from the Marvel, you get it. But it's more interesting to mix AI and real world. That's an example from a behind the scene of a short movie made by Aronofsky, which is a very popular director. He partnered with Google in order to shoot some footage and then use AI in order to handle visual effects. That's a complicated scene. They had to shoot with a newborn kid. You can do it, but it's very complicated. So they shooted all the action without the baby, and then they were able, with VO3, a model made by Google, they were able to insert after the baby. And it's really, really realistic. Here, get the baby. By the way, Aronofsky, director, Google, you can do it this afternoon. You can do it with the right tool. Then you can edit footage. That's another tool called Aleph by Runway that give you the possibility to edit a real video. Want pandas, want water, want to change it. The dog is a tiger. Imagine what you can do. You shoot with your smartphone a video, and then you can, I want to change the weather. I want to bring a boat on the moon. Everything. And even this, you can do it tomorrow, this afternoon with Runway. So let's talk about future scenarios. In my opinion, the most interesting application is prototyping and testing. What I mean, what are you watching right now? It seems like a Star Wars trailer, and it is a Star Wars trailer, but it was made by one person. It was made by a fan of a Sega that with his laptop he made a trailer of Star Wars. So what I mean with prototyping and testing, maybe before producing investing millions and millions of dollars on a movie, you can make 10 trailers with some differences, and you can test that trailers and decide which one has got the most compelling story. The second application is democratization. Do you remember what happened with YouTube that enabled a lot of people around the world to reach a broad audience? I can see in the near future that maybe the next blockbuster movie will be made by a kid in New Zealand. Could happen. Maybe one of you, I don't know, remember of the friends, just in case. The last and third scenario for the future is scalability and personalization. I think that this one for the clients could be really, really interesting. So right now, you sit on your sofa and you watch Netflix or Disney Plus, whatever, and you find the algorithm show you some suggestion based on your interest and passion. Okay, imagine if you can ask to produce in that moment a movie for you with a prompt. Like, okay, tonight I want a spy movie, a little bit romantic, based in Mexico, and you get this movie. It's happening. That's a company called Showrunner that is doing this. It's the Netflix, the AI of the Netflix. You can put yourself in the movie, so you grab a photo and you are the main actor of the next Starbucks movie. That's amazing. In the end, the aim for you is what I suggest to do is to find the intersection between that tools and your skills, market, and business. Since these tools are really easy to use, it's very important to think, okay, what's bring me an advantage if I use that tool with my skills, my business? And that's a quote I read before going to bed in order to feel safe as a creative person. It's Sam Altman said one time, as technology becomes increasingly intelligent and accessible, ideas will make all the difference. I hope so. Thank you. Just another amazing masterpiece.
Okay. Thank you, Eduardo. I think that with this conference, we have demonstrated that on top of solid theory, we have all the possibilities to arrive to the goals that we have to create unique and bespoke contents for yachts, guests, and owners. So, thank you very much.